Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Honestly, I'm not really sure what I'm going to talk about because so much has happened in the world, and it's quite just, it's just, it makes me rethink how far along humanity is with regards to a level of compassion and kindness that we feel for each other, for people that we don't necessarily like or get along with. And you know, humanity's reaction based on the internet and also just people talking around me is just really sad. And I know there's some kind of effect that it only takes a small percentage of people to change um, the grander thing. And I'm hoping that's true. I'm hoping that's true because a lot of people have a lot of hate and anger in their hearts that they project onto other people. And it's really disturbing, because I'm trying not to be at that place. Like, definitely there are things that get me angry. Definitely there are things that challenge my understanding of humanity, but never do I wish ill will towards anybody. And if I do for a quick second, because I am human, I'm imperfect, or I am perfect just the way that I am, I will say, I'm sorry. I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought that really terrible thought about you, because it's unnecessary to just be vicious and malicious. And that takes a real anger, hatred for self, for just, yeah, in a way it is for self, because those things are things that bother you about yourself, and then like you're projecting it onto the world because you know you're capable of that too. And that's, we're capable of really terrible things and we're capable of really great things. So it's important to stay in that understanding, like, yeah, you know what, you're not above anybody with regards to what you would do to survive if you felt cornered, so it's important not to like say I would never do that. But it's also important to understand that there are people who would do it, but I don't know, as a human trying to live love consciously, it's like I feel like I'm talking in tangents and I'm not really making any sense, so I apologize for that if you're able to like track this conversation that I'm having. But it feels like I was listening to someone and they were talking about unconditional love. The caveat to that is that you need wisdom in that process, because if you don't have wisdom, then you're easily going to be taken advantage of if you're just always coming from unconditional love without wisdom, right? So you need to merge the two. And we're coming at an age where I think we are understanding unconditional love, but we're not understanding the wisdom that needs to go along with it for it to successfully bring us into human development, spiritual development, which we need. Like, we need everything that God gives us, right? We need the science, we need the logical thinking, but we also need the love. We need the spiritual understanding of how we are connected, how we are separated, how our decisions affect each other, the planet, and all these things. And we need that. Like, if you just stick to materialism, which is what I see in front of me is all that exists, then I feel like then it's going to be harder for you to value things that are not physically in front of you. Like, value another human who's not standing in front of you, that you're directly seeing how your decisions are impacting them. But if you're coming from a spiritual understanding and you're like being a whole person, then you could possibly conceive, hey, if I make this decision, this is how it can affect my, my colleagues, my human friends, my animal friends, my planet, the planet that I'm residing on. So you need that combination. I think it's important to have that. And if you don't have it, work on it. One thing I used to like to do, which I haven't done in a very long time, it's putting myself in someone's shoes and saying, what do you think, Anne-Marie, it would take for you to approach the world this way? And so it gives you an understanding of like your shadow aspect, the darker sides of you. Like, what would you be willing to do to have X, Y, and Z? What sacrifices would you make? What are the trade-offs for it? And just by putting yourself in positions like that and having those thought experiments, I think it helps you to balance the wisdom and the unconditional love better, because it keeps you away just from being a materialist that I only believe in things that I can see with my own eyes, when there are things that are constantly opposing those ideas. Anyway, I think I'm going to keep it short because I felt like I was all over the place, and I hope I came home with something that was concrete with regards to living love consciously. And I think the message I wanted to say is unconditional love without wisdom is not something you want to be in all the time. You have to have wisdom to manage that. And that's why kids like have unconditional love, but they have the wisdom of their parents, of the elders around them to help guide that unconditional love. And sometimes society comes and we kind of crush it, which I work really hard not to crush my son's opportunity to be a child. That's very important, to allow them to go through that childish period in their lives so they can let go when it's time and keep also the concept of it's okay to be childlike sometimes, but also you also need to have wisdom to be serious about things, to think and to act accordingly. Okay? I love you. Take care of yourself. Please, please pray for each other. Please, please always try to have the kindness thoughts for others, which I don't always achieve either, but it's important to do that, to see yourself in other people and to have kindness and compassion for them, whether you like them personally or not. It's important to value life. Okay? Take care of yourself. Bye.